Hello, welcome to analysis and detailed question discussion of 30th Gen Shift 1 JEE Means exam. This is a memory based solution and discussion that we are trying to do. In this video, you will see there are two very different parts. In the first part, we are going to talk about the analysis of the paper, wherein we are going to go in detail and understand what kind of questions came into the paper, what was the difficulty level of those questions, and what was the distribution of those among different sections, because this video is largely going to be useful for those students who are going to write the upcoming papers. Second part of this will go into a detailed discussion of those questions. I have categorized the questions into largely three categories: easy, moderate, and difficult. But since this paper was quite easy, so you will find most of the questions categorized into easy and moderate category only. So let us start with this analysis part. So if I look into this paper, analysis of this paper, if I look into the difficulty level of whatever questions that we could get, what we could understand is, out of whatever questions we had, 14 questions could be categorized as easy questions. So this is quite an easy exam where these questions are directly based on a topic or a problem type, which you can directly, if you know, you can directly solve in the exam in one go. There are other 9 questions in the paper which can be categorized as moderate. Now, these are those questions that involve little bit more calculation, slightly deeper application of concept, but largely these questions are also towards easy only. So, compared to earlier attempts that happened, earlier shifts that happened, this paper can be categorized as an easy to moderate question and a highly scoring paper. I think in this paper, students are going to score really good marks. Now, if I talk about the distribution of questions, you can see that algebra had the lion's share of 32% questions in the paper. Now, this includes algebra of class 11th and 12th both. Then, if I look into the second most important part, that came from nothing but the calculus. Here I have included both differential calculus and integral calculus. And the third most important part in the paper was nothing but coordinate geometry. It included 23% of the questions. And then 14% came from vectors and 3D, and the remaining questions were from stats. So there was one question from stats. So you can see that largely this distribution is in line with whatever has been the pattern of JEE Mains for last 2-3 years. Now let us start the second part of this discussion, the questions that came into paper that were easy in nature. So I'm going to quickly discuss and tell you the method to solve these questions. If I look into this first question, in this first question you can see that sum of n terms, first n terms of an arithmetic progression is given as nothing but Sn. The value of S20 is given as 790. S10 is given as 145. What they're asking is difference of S15 and S5. So this kind of questions are those questions that we give to students when we teach them arithmetic progression. There is a very simple question. What we will do is we'll find the value of A and D. Once you have figured that out, we'll figure out the value of S15 and subtract S5 from it and get the answer. So there are two simple steps. First this and second this. Now, in order to find the first value, what you can see is the value of 20 by 2 into twice of A plus N, that is 19 into D. This value is given as nothing but 790. So if I cancel this out and simplify this, this is what am I getting. For the second part, if you write for 10 terms, 10 by 2 is equal to twice of A plus 9D. You can see that this value is given as nothing but 145. So I can cancel this out. There is a 5 term. It will be 229. And now you can see that we have two equations, first and second. I can solve both of these equations by subtracting them. If I subtract them, what I get is the value of 10D. And you can see that 29, if you subtract, 9 will go away. The answer will be nothing but 50. So the value of D comes out to be 5. We can substitute this value in the second equation. So this becomes twice of A plus 9 into 5 will be 45, will be equal to 29. If I subtract from 29, 45, I will get nothing but minus 16. So from here the value of A comes out to be minus 8. Once we have done this in the first part, in the next part, what I need to do is apply the formula for Sn. Find the value of S15. So 15 by 2 twice of A minus 14D. D was nothing but 5. Find the value of S5. That is nothing but 5 by 2 2 into minus 8 minus 4 into 5 and subtract them. So if you subtract them, let us see what do we get. So S15 minus S5 will come out to be nothing but 15 minus 5 by 2 will become 10 by 2, that is nothing but 5 into 2 into minus 8. From the second part again, we can do the calculation. This will become 15 into 14 by 2. So this becomes nothing but 15 into 7. And the next part will become nothing but 10 into 5. If I simplify this, the answer comes out to be nothing but, that is nothing but 395. So quite a simple question. Let us write 395 here also, so that there is no problem. Now let us move to the next question. If I look into this next question, it talks about number of integral terms in this expansion. So if I want to find the integral terms, the method is we'll write the general term. That comes out to be 824 CR 7 raised to the power 1 by 2 raised to the power 824 minus R, and the next term becomes 11 raised to the power R by 6. So if I put this, now what will should ultimately happen is the powers should not have any kind of a denominator in order to make this term radical free or rational. So now what we are going to do in order to do that, so what should happen, R should be a multiple of 6. It should be of this form. And when this is of this form, 8 minus 824 minus R should be of a multiple of 2. Now this is obvious because when this R will become even, so this condition will automatically get satisfied. So what I want is this term. So what they're asking is number of such terms. The third part, if I put the value of K as 0, so this will become 0, 6, 12. So what we want is how many terms will be this in this series. So you can see that this is an arithmetic progression. So what we are, the general term we can write for this, that is nothing but A plus n minus 1 into D. D comes out to be 6. Let us equate this to 824 and check how many terms would be there. We will take only integral value of this n. So if I do this, n minus 1 will be equal to 824 by 6. So 6 times 1. And then 22. 6 into 3 is 18. Then 44. 6 into 7 is 42 and point something. So you can see that in this case, the value of n comes out to be 138 point something. So how many numbers would be there? There would be 138 terms. So you can see the option comes out to be option 2. Now in the next part or the next question, you can see that there is a question based on complex numbers. This question talks about the value of z is given as x plus iy. It satisfies this equation. So such kind of questions are extremely simple. What we are going to do is we are going to directly put this value into this equation. This is one way to do it. Now there is also a simpler way to do it. So one, you can directly substitute or you can use certain properties. Now in this case, the properties might also work because I can take this on the other side and then take modulus on both the sides. Now this will become much simpler compared to just substituting the value of z as x plus iy. So we can see this becomes mod of z whole square. This becomes nothing but mod of, and this can ultimately be written as z only, and mod of I becomes nothing but 1. So if I do this, you can see that this and this, if I compare, mod of z can have two possible values. One, it can be equal to 0 and or it can be equal to 1. Now this value is not possible since they have given that x and y are not equal to 0. So only this value is possible, hence the answer to this question becomes 1. Again, a very simple question. If I move forward further, next question is based on the concept of coordinate geometry. This question says that a line making an angle of 30 degree with the positive direction of x-axis at 4, 0 now is rotated by an angle of 15 degree in clockwise direction. What will be the equation of the line? So let us understand what is happening by making a small diagram. So if I make a small diagram, this point is nothing but 4, 0. The initial angle, this is nothing but 30 degree. Now what they're saying is move it in the clockwise direction. If I move it in the clockwise direction, you can see that this is how it will look like. So you can see this angle now is getting reduced to, now this they have moved from here to here by 15 degree. So this angle will become 15 degree. So now if I want to write the equation of the line, it is very simple in the next part. I can use point slope form. So y minus 0 by x minus 4 will be equal to m, and that in this case will become tan 15 degree. Now tan 15 degree you can easily find. This is an NCERT level question, 45 degree minus 30 degree. And if I write it in this manner, it becomes tan 45 degree minus tan 30 degree by 1 plus tan 45 degree into tan 30 degree. So if I simplify this, this becomes 1 minus 1 by root 3 by 1 plus 1 into 1 by root 3. So this becomes nothing but root 3 minus 1 by root 3 plus 1. So the value of y that we are getting from here, and if I cross multiply this, and they do not want us to do, actually what they want us to do is simplify this part only. So I can just take this and write here root 3 minus 1 by root 3 plus 1. And since they do not want this root sign in the denominator, I can rationalize the denominator. And if you rationalize the denominator in this case, what happens is x minus 4 is here. This becomes root 3 minus whole square. And the denominator will become nothing but 3 minus 1, 2. Now if I simplify this, let us see what do I get. So now if I want to further simplify, it is x minus 4. This becomes 3 plus 1 minus 2 root 3. This becomes 2. You can see that this 2 is getting cancelled. This will become 2 minus root 3. Now let us check the options. You can see that the option number 4 is getting satisfied, which becomes the answer to this question. If I move further, there is a question asked from circles. This question is very elementary question. This question talks about two circles. And they are saying that what can be the condition of R such that they cut at two different points. Now you can see that when we talk about circle-circle interaction, this condition will happen when the distance between the center. So if I talk about distance between the center D, it should be smaller than R1 plus R2. And it should be greater than R1 minus R2 mod. So this is the condition. Now we can directly apply this condition and get the answer. Now for this you will have to find, in order to apply this condition, you will have to find the value of D. That is the distance between the center. The center of the first circle is nothing but minus 1 comma minus 2. The next one is nothing but 2 comma 2. So if I apply my formula, this comes out to be 3 square. This is nothing but 5. Once you have got this value of D, the radius of the first circle is nothing but R. The radius of the next circle we can see is nothing but R1 is nothing but R, R2 is nothing but root of G square plus F square minus C. So 4 plus 4 minus 4. So it comes out to be 2. If I put all of these values here, so you can see that R minus 2 modulus will be smaller than nothing but D. D is nothing but 5. Is smaller than R plus 2. What are the conditions? So we can solve this, and then separately get the answer in the third step. So if I solve the first part, you can see the value of R minus 2 will lie between minus 5 and 5. So R will lie between minus 3 to 7. Now this is the solution of the half of the question. Another condition, and is nothing but 5 needs to be smaller than R plus 2. So R needs to be greater than 3. If I take intersection of both of these, you can see that so you can see that this answer to this question becomes nothing but option 3. Quite a simple question based on basic condition of circle-circle interaction. Now if I move further, what the next question says is the length of the minor axis of the ellipse is equal to half of the distance between the foci, then the eccentricity of the ellipses. So the length of the minor axis of the ellipse. So if I'm writing the equation of ellipse is x square by a square, y square by b square equal to 1. The length of the minor axis is nothing but 2b. And this 2 you need to take care of. And is equal to half of the distance between the foci. The distance between the foci is nothing but 2AE, and half of that would be 2. And what they're saying is this is equal. Find the eccentricity. Now this question was also asked in 2019. Similar kind of questions based on eccentricity asked multiple times. So again, a very simple question. What you can do from here is nothing but 2b by a can be written as nothing but e. And if I square, this is 4b by a whole square will be equal to e square. Now, the eccentricity for ellipse is nothing but e square is nothing but 1 minus b square by a square. So b square by a square is nothing but 1 minus e square. We can substitute this value. So in the third part, if I substitute this value, it is 4 times 1 minus e square will be equal to nothing but e square. So 4 minus 4e square is equal to e square. So e square is equal to 4 by 5, and that means the value of e is nothing but 2 by root 5. And that comes out to be nothing but option. So again, very simple question, 2019, and then before that, multiple such questions were asked in the paper. If I look into the next question, it talks about latus rectum of a hyperbola and its subtends. Again, a very simple question. So if I take and make a very simple one, this is how it looks like, hyperbola. And what they're saying is, the latus rectum of the hyperbola subtends 60 degree. So they are not saying half of the latus rectum, they are saying full of this latus rectum subtends at an angle of 60 degree at the center. So you can see that this angle is nothing but equal to 60 degree. This is what they have given to us. And b square, they have figured out the value of b square, and from there they want us to calculate L square, M square, N square. Now it is not a very difficult question, because if you want to write, if I take the geometry or consider this geometry, half of this triangle, if I draw half only, this angle will become 30 degree. This distance is nothing but AE. And you can see that this part, the height will be nothing but b square by a. Now, these are the things that we know. So this point is nothing but AE comma 0. And this whole length is 2b square by. That is the reason half came out to be b square by. So once you have got this, it is an extremely simple question, because what you need to do is apply the formula of tan 30 degree. So it becomes nothing but b square by a square e. This comes out to be 1 by root 3. E I can take on the right hand side, b square by a square. Now see, in the question, if I square this up, so now you can see that again the value of a square is given as 9. So out of this also 1 by root 3 is fine. Eccentricity can be written as 1 plus b square by a square. A square is nothing but 9. Here also we can write it as 9. Once you have got this, after this, it is a simple quadratic equation that will get formed. If you take this and square it, this becomes 1 by 3 into 1 plus b square by 9. And the right hand side becomes nothing but b raised to the power 4 by 81. This 3 I can cancel out, it will become 27. And if I cross multiply, this becomes 27 plus 3b square will be equal to b raised to the power 4. So we have got a quadratic equation in b square. So if I write it down, b raised to the power 4 minus 3b square minus 27 equal to 0. Now this is a simple quadratic. The value of b square comes out to be 3 plus minus root of b square, that is 9 plus 4 into 27 by 2a. Now what they have told us is basically, I do not need to consider the negative sign, I need to consider the positive sign only. So from here now, if you observe, you can see that the value of L by M. So now if you look into this, we can take 3 common. So if I take that 3 common, what is going to happen? This 3 by 2 will come. It is very simple. And this part here can be written as 1 plus 12. So you can see that this comes out to be 3 by 2. 1 plus root 13. So, and they are saying that this is equal to L by M, 1 plus root n. So you can compare and figure out the value of L. So the value of L comes out to be nothing but 3. The value of M comes out to be 2. And value of N comes out to be nothing but 13. Now what they're saying is you need to square and add everything up. If you do so, you get nothing but third option, that is 182. If you want to do it, I can do it also. 9 plus 4 plus 160. So it will become 182. Now if I look towards the next question, it talks about a point A that is 2 comma 3 comma 5, a point C that is, now you can see that we have finished the questions which were based on coordinate geometry. Earlier there was only one question based on algebra, and now we are slowly moving towards the questions that are based on vectors. And this vector based question, what they're saying is they're opposite vertices of a parallelogram ABCD. So let us draw a parallelogram. This is A, B, C, and D. This is first part. We can see that A becomes 2 comma 3 comma 5. C becomes minus 3 comma 4 comma minus 2. And what they have told us is basically, if I take this vector BD, this is nothing but from BD vector, it is nothing but I cap plus 2j cap plus 3k cap. AC also we have. So if I want to find the area of parallelogram, so now the area of parallelogram is nothing but BD vector cross AC vector into mod divide by 2. This is the formula that we are going to use. So if I find the value of AC vector here, it would be nothing but OC vector minus OA vector. So this becomes nothing but minus 5 I cap plus j cap and minus 7k cap. So if I want to take cross products of these two vectors, it is a very simple task, because what you can do is, for finding BD vector cross AC vector, we can write this down as IJK 1 2 3 minus 5 1 minus 7. And if we simplify, it is a very simple calculation. This will become minus 14 minus 3 minus j cap into minus 7 plus 15 and plus k cap into 1 plus 10. So you can see that what we are getting is a very simplistic value. And if I simplify, the answer of BD vector cross AC vector comes out to be nothing but I cap into minus 17 plus 9, here it will be minus only, minus of 8 j cap and nothing but 11 k cap. So if I want to find the modulus of this vector, it is very simple. It will become nothing but root of 17 square plus 8 square plus 11 square. And the answer to this question, if I find the area, it will be 1 by 2 times. This will simplify to 474. And this becomes the answer to this question. Quite a simple question. If I move towards this next question talks about a lot of information they have given to us. In fact, 3 very important information. And what they want from us is a very simple thing. Find the value of the angle between C and B vector. Now, in this question, you can see that they have written a vector also. Now, if I want to find this value, what I can simply do is, I can take a dot product with B vector. And if I do so, we can see that the first part, this part, these are nothing but perpendicular vectors. So this will become nothing but 0. And what we get is 3B vector dot B vector. So what we are getting as a result is 3C vector dot B vector is nothing but 3 times minus 3 times mod of B vector whole square, and this is nothing but 4, so this becomes nothing but 16. So this becomes nothing but minus 48. See, now this part, what we can write this as mod of C, mod of B, and then cos of angle between them. So if I can somehow, after this step, you should see that if somehow can find the value of C, because B we already know, mod of B is given as 4. And I can also divide this with nothing but mod of B, that is 4. So this becomes nothing but 12. So cos theta, if I want to find, it is nothing but minus 12 by mod of C vector. If I get this value, I will be easily able to find it. There is no complication. Now, how to find the value of C? That is the only thing that we need to think about. And now that is also not a very challenging task, because what you can do is you can take mod of c whole square. So what we are going to do is we are going to get a vector cross b vector modulus whole square. Now this will also become 4 plus 9 mod of b whole square, and then minus 2 into 2 a vector cross b vector dot 3 times b vector. And so if I simplify this, I will get the value of mod of c. So mod of c whole square is nothing but 4 mod of a whole square mod of b whole square, then sine square phi plus 9 into mod of p whole square. Now let us substitute the values here. So if you substitute the value, it is a very simple question. This becomes 1, this becomes 4 square, this becomes nothing but 3 by 4, this becomes nothing but 4 square 16. We can cancel this out, and now what we can see is this 4 square or 16 we can take as common. So this is 3 plus 9, so this is nothing but 12 into 16. Now I've minded that this is not the value of mod of c, this is the value of mod of c whole square. So if I find the value of mod of c whole square, it is 12 into 16. The value of mod of c comes out to be nothing but 4 into root 12. Now let us put it in the third step in the formula that we got. And if I directly put it here, it is minus 12 by nothing but 4 root 12. This root 12 will get cancelled out. This can be written as 2 root 3 by 4. This will also get out. So what you are getting is minus root 3 by 2 in the third step. So the value of theta correspondingly will become nothing but 150 degree. That is nothing but 180 degree minus 30 degree. Now in this next question, what they are talking about is the value of alpha, beta, gamma is the foot of perpendicular from the point 1, 2, 3 on the line. They have given us a value of line. And this is a very standard question. On the line, we consider 3 cases: foot, image, and perpendicular distance. And there is a very standard process to solve it. So what we are going to do is, this is a point 1, 2, 3, and what we want is nothing but foot. This is given as nothing but alpha, beta. So the method is very simple. What we are going to do is we are going to take a general point. So a general point, if I equate this line to k, that general point will become nothing but 5k minus 3, 2k plus 1, and 3k minus 4. So let us take a general point on this line. That general point is this only. And now what we are saying is, if I find the direction ratios of this, let us say this is A, this is B. So the direction ratios of A, B would be nothing but 5k minus 4, 2k minus 1, and 3k minus 7. Now what we are going to do is we are going to write the direction ratios of line. And that is nothing but whatever is written in the denominator. So this is nothing but 5, 2, and 3. Once you have figured out both of these values, the next step is very simple. Since at this point, both of them are perpendicular, we are going to apply condition of perpendicularity. That means 5k minus 4, the multiplication of direction ratios, and then the sum of them. 2k minus 1 into 2, and 3k minus 7 into 3. This will be equal to 0. If I simplify and solve this out, this becomes nothing but 25k minus 20, 4k minus 2, and 9k minus 21 equal to 0. Now, in the fourth step, in the next step, if I find the value of k, it comes out to be nothing but 43 by 38. Once you have got this value of k, from here in the next step, that is fourth step, I can find the value of alpha. That is nothing but 5k. So 43 by 38 minus 3. I can find the value of beta. That is nothing but 2 times. And I can do it even better, because what they are asking is nothing the value of alpha plus beta plus gamma into 19. So we can take 19 here. Add alpha, beta, gamma. So if I add all of these, you will get nothing but 5 plus 3 plus 2, so 5 plus 7, 11, 5 plus 3, so what we will get is nothing but 10k, and then minus 3 minus 4 is minus 7. Minus 7 plus 1 is nothing but minus 6. And all I need to do is substitute the value of k here, 43 by 38. If I simplify this, what they want is the value of this expression. This will come out to be nothing but 10. Quite a simple question. Now this question, now we are moving towards the territory of calculus. So in this next question, what they are saying is this limit is given to us. Now this limit you might have seen multiple times, and there are multiple ways to do it. You can apply L'Hopital rule also in order to get it. So what they want is to find the value of a and b. So now for this, first condition that we can say is when x tends to 0, it should be in 0 by 0 form. Denominator is getting 0, but if you look into the numerator, it will become a. Now in the next part, if I apply L'Hopital rule, what I get is limit x tends to 0, a e raised to the power x square into 2x minus b sine x. This will become 2x equal to 1 by 2. And now we can apply our results from limits. So first part is quite simple. The second part, what we'll get is minus b by 2 sine x by x. We can use trigonometric limit here, and now the answer becomes a minus b by 2 is equal to 1 by 2. Now it is all about solving these two equations. So if I substitute the value of a, it is minus b by 2 is equal to 1 by 2. So minus 3b by 2 is equal to 1 by 2. The value of b becomes nothing but minus 1 by 3. Now if this is so, the value of a will become nothing but 1 by 3. So very simple question. Hardly any kind of limits you need to know in order to solve this question. Even students studying at the level of boards can solve using some other technique. In this next question, what they're asking is area bounded by this curve y square is equal to 4x minus 2. So what are the steps in finding the area? The one thing that we should do is we need to plot the graphs. You need to know how to draw this graph and what will happen to this graph. So what will happen is this graph will be shifted in the x direction. So the vertex is at nothing but x equal to 2. So this point is nothing but is 2, 0. So this point is shifted. Now what they're saying is there is a line also, 2x minus 3. So first let us see whether these two curves are going to intersect or not. And that is very simple to check. Put the value of y here. So 2x minus 8 whole square will be 4x minus 2. This is what we need to do. So if I take 2 common, it becomes 4. This will also become 4. So you can see that 4 is directly cancelling out. And I can see from here is nothing but I can write this as x square minus 8x plus 16 will be equal to x minus 2. So x square minus 9x plus 18 will be equal to 0. And what we can see is this is going to become nothing but x will be 9 plus minus root of b square, that is 81 minus 4ac by 2a. And if I simplify this, what am I getting is nothing but 9 plus minus. I can take 9 out and this will become 3. This is 9 minus and this will become 4 into 2. That is nothing but 8 by 2. And the value that we are getting for this is again very simple. You will get nothing but 9 plus minus 3 by 2. So if I take plus sign, it becomes 12 by 2, 6. If I take minus sign, it becomes nothing but 6 by 2, that is nothing but 3. So you can see that it is intersecting at 2 points, 3 and 6. So if I draw the line, now you have got a picture that this line will start from below and will intersect at 2 points like this. This is what is happening. So now what they're saying is area bounded. The area bounded would be this small area. This we need to understand. See, because if you do without understanding, sometimes the answer will come, sometimes it will not come. So understanding which area is getting bounded where is very important in getting such questions right. In the second step, it is very simple. We are going to take a vertical element. So in this region that we have, we are going to consider an element like this. So what we can write, this is nothing but y dx integration. And you can see the limit is varying from, now we got two values. One was 3, another one was 6. And for writing this, we need to subtract the y parts of the curve. If I take it from the first, upper one is coming from the parabola. So this will become root of 4 of x minus 2. And the lower one is coming from the other curve, 2x minus 8. Now this integration is also very simple. You can do and find the answer. The answer comes out to be nothing but 9. Extremely simple question based on class 12th mathematics. Nothing JEE related is required in this question. Now, this question is a question based on differential equations. And again, this is also an easy question. Why? Because this is the simplest kind of differential equation that can be given to you in the paper. This is based on variable separable. So either it will be variable separable, homogeneous, or linear differential equation. All you need to do is figure out which one is asked. Apply that technique and get the answer. So if you take this part, what you can say is this is nothing but sec x and dy by dx. In fact, there is no need to even write this also. We can just separate the variable directly. Take it on the other side. 1 minus x 10x plus x into 2 minus x and dx. This is what we need to do. Now if you look into this, what is happening here is, if I have to do this, I will have to take this sec x on the other side. So this becomes a 2 minus 2x into 10x. And this is nothing but 2x minus x square by sec x. You can see that the variables are already separated. Now what I need to do is do the integration and get an answer. So the first part is observing what kind of differential equation we are trying to solve. So this becomes a dy is equal to 2 minus 2x. And you can write this as nothing but sin x by cos x. So this will, if you take LCM, this becomes sin x. This becomes 2x square into cos x. And then dx. Now what you can observe here is, if I look into the formula of u, if I take this as nothing but u as nothing but 2x minus x square. If I take this as u, the derivative here, or u dash is written here. So let me write it another color so that it is more visible. If I take this as u, you can see that this part is nothing but u dash. And if I take this as v, then you can see that this part is v dash. So you can see that you have got a formula of uv dash. If I write it down, it is nothing but 2x minus x square into sin x, and the derivative of this is given to you. So your integration also becomes simpler. It will become one line. So this becomes y is equal to 2x minus x square into sin x plus c. An extremely simple question. Now, if I move towards the last easy question that we had, it was based on nothing but starts. So what they're saying is they have given a class, and the class difference is given as 4. What they're asking, what is the median? And now for this kind of question, there is a formula for median that you need to know. If you remember that formula, you will get the answer right. So let us quickly write it down. So if I want to find the median of m, what we need to do in this case is first figure out that if this frequency is 36, where half of this will lie. So if I take 36 by 2, it is 18. And if I find cumulative frequency, what I will observe is this is 2. This will become 11. This will become 21. Then this will add up and will become 29. Then this will add and will become 36. You can see that that value is going to lie in this class. So this has become our median class now. This class has become nothing but a median class. So this is very important. Now the formula that we have is, if you use this formula that is in front of us, what is L here? L is nothing but this lower limit of the median class. So the value of this part becomes nothing but 8. N by 2 is nothing but 36 by 2. So this becomes 18. Cumulative frequency would mean of the preceding class. So this would become nothing but 11. And then frequency of this class, that is nothing but 10. Then at h is nothing but class width, that is nothing but 4. So if I simplify and find the value of 10m from here, this will come out to be nothing but 216, and that is nothing but option 4. Very simple formula based question. If you just remember the formula, you will get it right. Now let us move towards moderate questions that were asked in the paper. And as I already told you, there were no difficult questions, just few moderate questions that play with the idea of. Now in this question, in fact, this is a very interesting question. What they've given is the value of alpha. But if you look into these terms in the alpha, so I'm not going to exactly write alpha. Let us understand what is the nth term of this. So if I write the first is 1 square, then 4 square. So I'm understanding what is the square, what is going inside whose square is written. So if I write this down, what you will observe is their difference is nothing but 3, 4 is in arithmetic progression. So from here you should get idea that if I want to write the general term, the term without the square can be obtained by method of difference. So our first step becomes, if I want to write S of this series 1, 4, 8, I am not writing for the original series, I am writing without the square. Then what I can do is I can shift the term by 1. And then subtract, because this is the standard technique. Once you do so, this will become 3, 4, 5 up till n minus 1 terms minus tn, and from here you can get the value of tn. You can see that this is an arithmetic progression with n minus 1 terms. So n minus 1 by 2 twice of a plus n minus 1 minus 1 into t. And if I simplify, this is 1 plus n minus 1 into 6 plus n minus 2. And if I simplify this, this is nothing but 2 can go on this side. This is n minus 1 into n plus 4 by 2. And if I further simplify, it is n square plus 3n minus 2 by 2. So we have got the value of what is happening inside the square. Now the square will come and that will make this question extremely interesting. So now if I want to write the value of alpha, it is nothing but summation of tn whole square. So whatever we have got, that is n square plus 3n minus 2. This part is fine, but square of this. So you can see that there is a 2 square getting formed. We can take on the other side. This becomes 4 alpha. And what will be left is nothing but square of this part. So a square plus b square plus c square. Then plus 2ab. So 2 into 3, 6n cube. Plus 2bc. So 2 into 3, 6. This will become minus 12n. And then 2, so this will become minus 4n square. So if you observe this, something very unique is happening. And that is, if I simplify, let us simplify first and then observe that unique phenomena. So this becomes n raised to the power 4, 6n cube plus 5n square minus 12n plus 4. So you can see that if I distribute my summation sign, I will get summation of n raised to the power 4 plus 6 times summation of n cube. And this from here, I think you might have seen that. I will give you a second to notice. I can distribute this summation. And once you have done that, you might have observed that in the question there was another part, this beta they were talking about. And they're asking 4 alpha minus beta. So if you look into this, it all adds up. This is nothing but beta, summation of n raised to the power. So what you can do is you can take in the other side. This becomes 4 alpha minus beta. And now you have got some very standard results. So summation of n cube is n into n plus 1 by 2 whole cube, whole square. Next part will become 5 times n into n plus 1 to n plus 1 by 6. The next part will become minus 12 n into n plus 1 by 2 and then 4 into n. All we need to do to find the value is to put the value of n as 10. And if you do so, the answer will come out to be 353. So this is a very interesting question because we do not need to find n raised to the power 4. And it will automatically get adjusted in the answer. So now this question contains or combines the idea of modulus with probability. And this is the beauty of this question. So what you need to do is you need to find such values belonging to this set that will satisfy. So if I put x equal to 0, let us see what can be the possible values of y. So mod of y would be greater than 5. So that would mean the y can take values from 0 1, no, can take values from 6 to 10. So 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. This values it can take. So corresponding to this, you can see that there are 5 possibilities. Second is, if I put x is equal to 1. So mod of y minus 1 would be greater than 5. So corresponding to this, y minus 1. So corresponding to this, y minus 1 would be greater than 5. And that would mean y should be greater than 6. And corresponding to that, the value satisfying would be 7 to 10. And you can see 4 answers will come. In the third part, if I put x equal to nothing but 2, so it becomes mod of 2 minus y is greater than 5, or y minus 2 mod is greater than 5. Corresponding to this, y minus 2 will be greater than 5. So corresponding to this, y will be greater than 7. So this will become 8, 9, 10. So you can again see there are 3 possible values. And you can keep on doing this. It is not a very difficult task. And after a certain point of time, something magical will happen. That also we'll see. So now, and the values will start repeating. If I write 3 minus y mod, so corresponding to this, you can see the value of y minus 3 should be greater than 5. So y belongs to 9 and 10. So you can see that again we are getting 2 values from here. Next, we can put x is equal to 4. So 4 minus y mod will be greater than 5. So y minus 4 is greater than 5. Y should belong to only one value 10. And you can see that one answer comes. And now corresponding to x equal to 5, what we have is y minus 5 mod is greater than 5. So there are two things. 5, this we can write, or we can write this is smaller than either of the ways. There are no values that are getting satisfied. And there is no answer corresponding to these values. And now after this, the things will start getting flipped. If I put 6 minus y mod is greater than 5. So the solution will come. When I write here 6 minus y is greater than 5. And now if I take this, the value of y should be smaller than 1. So corresponding to this, one answer will come. And now the cycle will change. So you can see that it will start. And now what will happen in the last case is we will put x equal to 10. And you can see 10 minus y mod will be greater than 5. So 10 minus y is greater than 5. That would mean y is smaller than 5. And you will see that again it will give you 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 values. So you can see that we started with 5, we ended with 5. So what are the possible scenarios? So 5 in the first case, then 4, then 3, then 2, then 1. Then 0 came, and then the same values started repeating. So these are the favorable cases. Total cases are nothing but 11 into 11. So our answer becomes 2 into n plus 1. That is 6 by 2. This 2 will get cancelled out. Divide by 121. And this is nothing but 30 by 121. That is nothing but option number 1. This next question targets the idea of roots of quadratic equation. So what they're saying is alpha and beta have roots which are natural numbers. So this has nothing but integral roots. So what we can write is b square. What is the condition? Minus 4ac. This should be equal to a perfect square. What they're saying is find the minimum value of lambda such that lambda by 2 and lambda by 3 are not natural numbers. What can be the possible values? So this, if you can write, it is 4900 minus 4 into lambda. So a very simple thing that you can do here is basically take the options and check the answer. Which one is this is very tricky thing, that whenever the question of integral roots has been asked in the paper, the simplest technique has always been to check the options. And this was earlier done in 2019 also, and in this question also. So what you can do is you can check the options. Check the first, second, third, fourth options, and you will see that the second option will satisfy. Now, in this next question of calculus or differentiation, a simpler technique for doing any kind of differentiation has always been simplify then differentiate. Don't be a singham that I will shoot and then ask questions. Always ask questions and then shoot the person. So here what you're going to do is you're going to first apply properties. So obviously the property that we should apply is R1, R2 tends to R1 minus R2. And R2 tends to R2 minus R3. R3 tends to R3 minus R2. Yes, now it is fine. So if you do this, what is going to happen is it is going to get simplified. So if I do so, my first part remains same. But in the second part, it becomes 3. This part remains same. This also remains same. But this will become 0. This will become minus 3. The next part, if I subtract, this becomes minus 3. This becomes 3. And the last part, if you see, this becomes 0. So you can see that the question has become that much simpler. So instead of directly applying differentiation, always first simplify and then differentiate. That is always going to be simpler. Now here, either now you can think of directly expanding, or you can add one more operation we can do. We can add this up, generate 2 0 and then apply it. Either of the ways, it is not a very difficult question. So I'm going to do and then expand. So if I add these two, this becomes a 2. In fact, it would be easier if I add these two. So let us add these two. So it becomes 2 cos raised to the power 4x plus 2 sin raised to the power 4x. This is going to become 3. This is going to become 0. This is 2 sin raised to the power 4x. This is 0. This is 3. 3 plus sin raised to the power 2x. And this is nothing but sine square 2x. Sorry, minus 3 and 0. This we already did. Got it. So now it has become very simple question after this. You can expand along this third row that we have and you have got your answer. It becomes minus 3 times. This part you will multiply by this part. And this part we are going to multiply by this part. So your function is coming out to be very simple. This becomes minus 3 into 2 cos raised to the power 4x plus 2 sin raised to the power 4x and minus 3 into 3 plus sine square 2x. Now you can see that it is very intuitive to take this 3 also common, minus 3 common. So this becomes 9 here. And what you have is again 2 cos raised to the power 4x plus 2 sin raised to the power 4x. And this is nothing but plus 3 plus sine raised to the power square 2x. If I open this up, you can see that this part is again getting simplified. Because if I take this, I can write as 2 sin x cos x. So this will become 4 times sine square x cos square x. So if I take this 2 common from here, this is becoming cos raised to the power 4x, sine raised to the power 4x, and this will become 2 sine square x cos square x. So you can see that simplifying things is started paying up. If you do that, now without even differentiation we'll get answer, because this is nothing but sine square x plus cos square x whole square plus 3. And you can see that this will become 1. So this whole quantity has become constant. And differentiation of constant is 0. So your answer to this question comes out to be 0. So always simplify, then differentiate. If I move towards this next question, it talks about a triangle is formed by vertices of these 3 on xy plane. If the point x comma y and minus x comma y lie on this curve. So let us first draw this curve. So it is nothing but minus x square is opposite, and this is something like this. Okay, so now what they're saying is, on this symmetric curve, there are 2 points. One is x comma y. So I'm taking x comma y here. So if I take my x comma y here, minus x comma y will go here. You can see that they are forming a horizontal line. This observation is very important. Another important point is nothing but 0. Now what they're talking about is maximum area this triangle will form. If the point this lies on this, the maximum area that can be formed. So this area needs to be maximum. Now this area is very simple to find because now we need to maximize, minimize. This is a question of AOD. So in order to find area also, it is not very difficult because it is half of base that you can see here is nothing but 2 times x into height, that is nothing but y. So if I write it down, it is x into y. Now y you can take from here because it lies on the curve. So let us write this, y is nothing but minus x square plus 54. Now we have got the function. In the third part, you can differentiate this function. Let us simplify, then differentiate, as we already did in the last question. So if you find dA by dx, interestingly, it will come out to be minus 3x square plus 54. So if I put this equal to 0, I should ideally get my answer. So if I divide 54 by 3, so x square becomes nothing but 54 by 3. So 3 times 1. And then what we have is nothing but 54, right? So 24, and this will become nothing but 8. So the value of x comes out to be plus minus root 80. Okay. Now, once you have done that, next part would be to find the area corresponding to that. If I find the area, x will become a root, this will become root 18 raised to the power 3 plus 54 into root 18. So you can simplify this and your answer correspondingly comes out to be nothing but. So this is one area, area 1. And then there will be area 2 if I take negative sign. So if I take negative sign, this will become a root 18 raised to the power 3 minus 54 root 18. Whichever is maximum, that value will consider. And if you simplify, the answer comes out to be 108 root 2. It is not a very difficult question, but this AOD concept is getting integrated with the graph. Hence, I have put it into moderate category. If I move further, then there is this question, and we have also seen this question in earlier shifts. It talks about application of Newton-Leibniz theorem or differentiation under integral sign along with limits. So the first step, what you need to do is you need to apply L'Hopital rule. So we are going to apply LH rule. So if I do this, this becomes a limit h tends to 0. And you can see that we'll have to apply product rule. So this is what we got. And then x will come and differentiation of this. So differentiation of x would be 1 and this will become f of x. And in the denominator, this will become x square into 2x. Now, if I solve it further, it is a very simple question. We'll have to apply LH rule twice. So if I do it one more time, this will become f of x. And here I will have to apply product rule in the second part. And then this is x into f dash of x. In the denominator, we will get x square's differentiation. Again, 2x whole square will come. And e raised to the power x square into 2. This is equal to alpha. Now, if I put the value of x equal to 0 here, this will become f of 0. 2 times f of 0 because both of them would be equal. Next term will become 0. In the denominator, this becomes 0 and this becomes 2. This is alpha. Now f of 0 is given as nothing but 1 by 2. So numerator becomes 1. The value of alpha that we are getting from here is nothing but 1 by 2. Now what the question says is 8 alpha square. So if I take 8 and multiply with alpha square, the answer comes out to be 2. That is nothing but option 3. So an extremely simple question, just application of L'Hopital rule 2 times. Now this next question is a very logical kind of a question. The more than mathematics, your logic should be strong in order to solve this question. So what they're saying in the first part, they are not talking about function. So what they are first part, for the first option, we need to check the options only. They talk about differentiation. So first differentiate fx. So this becomes nothing but 1 by 2 g dash of x plus this will become g dash of 2 minus x into minus 1. If you observe this, this is 1 by 2 g dash of x minus g dash of 2 minus x. For the checking the first option, what we need to do is put here 1 by 2. Let us see what happens. If I put 1 by 2 here, what you will observe from here is, what am I getting? So this part would become nothing but 1 by 2 into g dash of 1 by 2 minus g dash of 2 minus 1 by 2, that is 3 by 2. And if I take f dash of 3 by 2, it will become 1 by 2 g dash of 3 by 2 minus g dash of 1 by 2. Now if I add these two, you can see that they will cancel out and come out to 0. And also it is given that both of these values are equal. So again, another reason to be 0. So this first option is incorrect. Now once you have figured this out, that this function is becoming 0 at 2 points, you can see that f dash of 1 is equal to f dash of 3 by 2 will be equal to 0. So now what we can do is we can apply Rolle's theorem on f dash of x. What Rolle's theorem will say that f dash of double dash of x will become 0 at least at one point between 1 by 2 and 3 by 2. And since it comes in the same duration as 0, 2, option 2 becomes correct. Now this Rolle's theorem based questions have always been little bit tricky to observe. So it is not very difficult to apply, it is difficult to observe. So what is the hint in the question? When they talk about something or a derivative becoming 0 for at least one value, you should think about a Rolle's theorem. This is the hint to apply Rolle's theorem. Now if I move towards the next question, this is a question based on integral as a limit of sum. So what you are going to do is, there are steps into this. First step, in integration as a limit of sum is, better limit of sum as integration is to generate a function of f of n by k or n by r here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide this by n raised to the power 4. So I will get 1 by n here. And here it will become 1 plus k by n whole square into 1 plus 3 times k by n whole square. Once you've got this function, the next step, you replace this by an integral sign. So this will become 0 to 1. You will find this limits by putting this divided by n, limit n tends to infinity. And the lower limit you can similarly find by putting whatever was written at below by 1 by n tends to infinity. So this becomes 0 to 1. 1 by n is replaced by dx. This will become 1 plus x square into 1 plus 3x square. Now after this, it is a very simple question based on the idea of partial fractions. So what we need to do is we need to write the partial fraction. So I can write this as nothing but a into 0 to 1 dx by 1 plus x square plus b into integration from 0 to 1 and dx by 1 plus 3x. How to find the value of a and b? There is a very simple technique. X square you can consider as t in your brain. And when you're writing here, you can put that value of t as minus 1. So if I put t as minus 1 or x square as minus 1, this will become 1 minus 3. And that is what we are going to get. In order to find b, we are going to put x square as minus 1 by 3. This becomes 1 minus 1 by 3. So if I simplify this, this becomes minus 1 by 2. Integration from 0 to x dx by 1 plus x square, very simple to find. And this becomes a 3 by 2. Integration from 0 to 1 dx by 1 plus 3x square. Again, very simple to find. And if you do the calculation, you will find the option 2 to be correct. Extremely simple question. All you need to do is observe this idea of limit of sum as integral. And so now let us move towards the last question of our discussion. And you can see that this is quite a complicated question. Not that complicated because even NCERT contains questions involving greatest entire function inside integrals. It is just a complicated form of the same question. So what you need to understand is when this is going to become integer. So if I'm writing 10x by x plus 1, let us first understand when it is going to become 1. This is one important value. So if I do this, you can see that 10x will be equal to x plus 1. And 9x will be equal to 1. So this is going to happen when x becomes 1 by 9. Another important value is when will this function 10x by x plus 1 take another important value, that is 2 square, that is 4. So if I do that, this becomes 10x is equal to 4x plus 4, or 6x will be equal to 4, or x will be equal to 2 by 3. This is another important value when whatever is inside will become 4. So we are taking squares in order to move forward. Next, what we can do is we can move towards a tan x by x plus 1. When will this become the next thing? That is nothing but 9, because root of 9 will become 3. So if I take this, that this is nothing but 10x equal to 9x plus 9. You can see that x becomes 9. And if you look into the integral, we just need to go till 9 only. So now our problem is almost sorted. If I take values from 0 to 1 by 9, it will become 0. If I take values from 1 by 9 to 2 by 3, it becomes 1. If I take values from 2 by 3 to 9, it will become nothing but 2. All we need to do is simplify this. So this becomes nothing but 2 by 3 minus 1 by 9. Plus 2 into 9 minus 2 by 3. So if I simplify this, this becomes nothing but 6 minus 1 by 9 plus 2 into this is nothing but 27 minus 2 will be nothing but 25 by 3. So if I write this will be 5. This will be 50 into 3 by 9. So what we are getting is nothing but 155 by 9. Question is asking what is the value of 9 times I. So 9 times I will become nothing but 155. So you can see that it is slightly modified form of the same question that is asked in NCERT. It is just that the function is little bit more complicated whatever is written in greatest unity function. If it were me writing the paper, I will attempt this question last in my exam. So you can see that more importantly, in which order I have taken this question. I went from easy questions to difficult questions, moderate questions, from moderate to slightly difficult questions. This idea you should also have in your mind while solving your JEE exam, because then you will not get stuck in the questions and lose time in the process. You will have motivation to go through the examination and complete the paper. Move to even the last and the most simplest question that is hidden in the numerical type questions. If you follow this strategy for moving from easy to difficult questions, largely you'll be able to cover all easy and moderate questions. And if you look into this paper, there were 14 questions in the paper that were very easy. If you can attempt those 14 questions, you are guaranteed a very good score in JEE Mains. I hope you have got this point. See you in the next one.